And just like that, we are back. Welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people, and we've been having these conversations since college.
Yep, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts podcast. 90 Day Fiance, Season 9, Episode 17, recap. The last episode before the reunion. I made it.
Yeah. You made it. No, really, here we go. 17 weeks in, you made it. Before we get to everything, your thoughts on this full season of 90 Day Fiance. Your first full season, actually your first partial, full glimpse at 90 Day Fiance.
I don't like it. And here's what I didn't like about this one. These people have been in a relationship for a year and a half, in some cases 2 years. Mm-hmm. And so they know each other really well. They know a lot of the stuff that I feel like the producers forced a lot of drama and stuff just to make it interesting. It'd be one thing if they just met. I don't know if there could, if 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight can have a baby. That's you meet this person and y'all got 90 days to get married and you got to get to know each other.
Married in 90 days.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Married in 90 days. You get matched, you meet, but you're not married right away, but you get 90 days to figure all this stuff out. That would probably be a little bit more interesting and maybe a little bit more real. But they've been together for a while, so I just thought they just added drama. But it was fun to make fun of it.
Yeah, it really was when you think of it. And it was different this year just because of the pandemic. Because like you said, they'd known each other for 2 years, but couldn't see each other for 2 years besides video calls because of travel restrictions during COVID, right? So this is what made this very interesting and very different than the other seasons. Being a 90 Day Fiance alum and having seen a lot of the seasons, I haven't seen all of them. I've seen a lot of them, but I've also seen a lot of the spinoffs. Not the 90 Day Diaries because those aren't just as they just aren't as good. But when you get to some of the other stuff, what were the other ones? The Other Way, 90 Day Fiance, The Other Way, Where Are They Now? And then so many different ones. You can go down a rabbit hole if you really wanted to, Daryl.
Well, I thought it was. I tried once just to see what one of these other ones were like. What's the one? Is it Pillow Talk?
Yeah. Now, 90 Day Fiance mastered Pillow Talk. I love Pillow Talk.
I tried to look at that, and I'm just it reminded me of this time that I was at the sports bar during football season, and they have all these different games going. You got everybody sitting trying to watch their game, and so when people start yelling, you're like, "Oh, let me see what's going on over there." And in this one room, you had people yelling. You're like, "What game is on back there?" And actually, they were in there watching people play World of Warcraft, but they weren't people actually playing in the bar. It's people remotely, but they're watching this from the screen. And I'm like, that's what that 90 Day Pillow Talk was like. It's you're watching people. It's crazy that that's big.
Okay, think of it so After Party is Married at First Sight's answer to Pillow Talk, right? But just not as good because it's a different format. What Pillow Talk is, after you watch an episode of 90 Day Fiance, if you go and watch Pillow Talk right after that, and I was one of those crazy people who did that. It's fun because they're watching the same episode you just watched, but you're getting their reaction. Some people that you know from other episodes, which you wouldn't know. But yeah, it's also just fun to hear their reaction. I think it's very well edited, very well put together, and it just allows, if you watch them back to back, you'll get it. If I missed out on a bunch of episodes, I'll just watch Pillow Talk because I'll get caught up on everything a lot faster than trying to watch the full episode. Because you're right, watching that full episode, there's a lot of fluff in there. They cut to the meat and get straight to it. Mm-hmm. It's why people watch our recaps. They've watched the show. They watch our recaps to see, did they see the same thing I did? Right? And that's what Pillow Talk is like. It's like watching it. It's like watching an hour-long podcast, but with a crap load of commercials in the middle of it.
But we got people that just don't watch the show. They just watch our recap. And they just laugh at it. They don't even have to watch the show. And so I think we do a good job of talking about what's important to save them the trouble of watching this bullshit that I had to suffer through. So,
hey, maybe we can be on Pillow Talk next. Well, let's get down to the couples, man. Last final marriage weddings. We got 4 of them here. Let's start with Jibri and Miona, where they went out to the desert, and apparently the desert and the beach are the same thing. I had no idea. Minus the water. Oh my God. Oh my God.
I wrote that. I was like, the desert and the beach are similar, except the ocean isn't there. I'm like, that's one way to put it. She's so deep.
The philosopher Miona is amazing.
Oh,
Who
God,
knew?
I couldn't.
Who knew?
I can't believe we both made that same note. That's like the desert and the beach.
First note. But I know, here's something else I know that you observed as well. Of course, Jibri neither tried on his tuxedo nor wrote his vows prior to the day of the wedding. I mean, are you surprised? Because I wasn't.
No, he wings it. And it just works out for him. That's been his life. He wings stuff and it works out. And I think for a lot of people, you're jealous of people like that it seems like everything goes their way. But it's like, just deal with it. He's lucky.
Yeah, he definitely is. But you know what? I give him this. He loves Miona, right? And you can tell that. And he wants to make her happy he understood the concept of what it is on a wedding day. It's making sure the bride is happy and comfortable and for all of this. But the one thing that got me was him saying that Serbian woman would roast his ass. It sounded a little cringy to me. It sounded a little, I don't know, maybe I'm reaching, but I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was weird. But, my first thought when they're waiting for this arch, I'm like, you could never depend on somebody named Igor. Come on. Igors aren't on time. They're not punctual. I mean, I'm just saying, there's no... you know your friends. You know your friends you can depend on. Igor is not a guy that's like, I'll be there early. That's not him. But the arch showed up. I'm like, this is what y'all were like waiting on?
Exactly what Jibri said. And the thing about it, when they first said the whole thing about the arch, right? I'm like, and okay, well, we can still do 3 o'clock. I'm like, cool. But then she goes, I was really looking at a noon wedding. I'm like, why is he 3 hours late?
Exactly. Because his name is Igor. That's what happens.
First thing I thought was, so is Igor black?
No, Serbian.
Apparently, there's CP time in Serbia too. No wonder Jibri feels at home.
SP time. Yeah, SPT is what that is. But, I will give Jibri credit. I thought that the song he wrote for Miona was actually nice. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, this is actually, pretty decent. Mm-hmm. Being from Texas and surrounded by country music, I was like, I see what you were trying to do, but it was still pretty good. Mm-hmm. But I knew his vows would be extra.
Oh, yeah.
I just knew it was going to be extra. When he started talking, I was just like, oh, goodness.
His vows were I.
No, I.
But the first thing I thought is, without hearing his vows, I heard hers and I went, women always write the better vows, right? I thought mine were cool. My wife's, I thought, were like, man, they were amazing. She's like, yeah, you think so? Because I thought they were just okay. I'm like, no, I mean, women always write the better vows, right? But you got to admit, when you see these two together, they look good together. They just look good. Even though he was wearing a turtleneck in the desert, they look good together.
They do, but, I'm curious. Are the vows really that big a deal to everyone else? I've never been to a wedding and left going, man, how was the wedding? It was great. Food was good, but the vows, oh my God, they were phenomenal. I'm still touched. It's like I've never left a wedding talking about the vows. I don't even remember your vows, and I was standing right there. I don't even remember.
That's because we did the generic vows in front of everybody else. We did our own personal vows at the first touch. So you have the first look, you have the first touch. We didn't see each other. Well, she saw me, but I didn't see her. And we actually recited our vows there. So when we were in the room getting ready, and I was writing down my vows in the book, the vow book, that's what we read when we were together. But we didn't do that in front of everybody else because we just wanted she wanted to keep it more private, and it's not for everybody else; it's for us. So to your point, exactly. And that's why when the pastor was reciting, he gave a whole paragraph. I'm like, all right, let me just paraphrase because I don't remember anything you said.
Well, maybe I'm going to start next wedding I go to. I want to listen more to the vows. Mm-hmm. I think if I get married, I'm going to stand there, Terrell, you want to read your vows and be like, y'all don't really give a shit about this, do you? Here, babe, you got this. Give me your note. Oh, that's really nice. Love you. And we don't have to read it. We can just skip over that part, get to the reception.
Just pull out a scroll. and then turn to the
day of our Lord.
and then turn to the audience and be like, y'all really want to hear all this? I didn't think so.
I would throw in lyrics. I throw in rap lyrics. You got what I need.
Oh, your wife is in for a treat.
Bless her heart.
She has no idea.
Bless her heart. Whoever she is, bless her heart.
As we roll on to Patrick and Thais, it starts off with them talking to Carlos. And Carlos was still looking down on them from his phone, from up above in his phone.
I like how Patrick handled the convo with Carlos. Mm-hmm. Because, I think it would have been better if Patrick would have went to Brazil and had this conversation face to face long time ago. I don't think it would have been that bad. But then also, I think if Thais would have told Carlos from the very beginning, they could have had this conversation and Carlos could have been there because she was, oh, my dad's not here. I'm like, that's because you didn't tell him.
Yeah.
He could have made plans to be there.
How were you crying that he couldn't be there?
Yeah.
You know why he couldn't be there? Because you didn't tell his ass. So of course he couldn't be there.
It's your fault.
Yeah. But to your point, I like how Patrick even admitted that he could have tried harder to build a better relationship with Carlos, right? He's like, I could have done this. And that's just not going like, well, it's not my fault because she ain't tell him so. Shit, what was I supposed to do? I thought he liked me anyway. And he could have easily said that. That's the easy way out. But instead he went, no, I could have done more. And then even, I really understood Carlos's point in a lot of it when he's like, look, she's going to be too far away. That's what you need, somebody in your country. She needs somebody in her country. That's basically saying, I don't want my little girl that far away from me. When am I ever going to see her again? And what I thought that Patrick did that was so good and reassuring, even though they didn't get the blessing, Carlos got to the point where he's like, look, you're an adult. You do what you want to do. I'm always going to be here. I'm always going to be your dad. It's pretty much what he said. But when he said, we'll be in Brazil every year. And I think that will make the dad feel better. And not like we're coming in for a day and then, hey, we peace out, we gone. No, it's more like we're coming in and we're going to spend some time. And I like that. And Carlos has got to take into effect as well the fact that Patrick went out of his way to learn Portuguese so he could speak to Thais.
Right.
How many Americans actually do that? Because they all go, you got to speak English to me. You got to speak American.
100% true. I totally respect that he took the time to learn Portuguese. Mm-hmm. And so he not only communicate with Thais, but also communicate with their family.
Yes.
I do like the fact that he said that we'd be there every year, but I like Carlos said that we can talk man to man, eye to eye. Like he doesn't want to do this. Pete, I'm just like, exactly, Patrick. That's exactly what you got to do is build that relationship with him. And you should have asked his permission to marry her a long time ago.
Right.
But whatever. But I'm happy for him. I thought that Thais was talking about Patrick is still controlling. I'm like, I don't see Patrick controlling. Mm-hmm. I just see Thais need to step up and do some stuff on her own. Mm-hmm. But if she's not, what do you expect him to do? And he's trying to overcompensate for the fact that he has to work and do this, and she'll try to keep her happy, deal with the John thing. So he just does stuff hoping that keeps peace. Yeah. And all it does is just frustrate her more. But it's like, okay, you come up with some stuff. Yeah. Besides, let's get married in Vegas, without any friends and family around. Come up with something besides that. What'd you think of that dance? I don't know what that was.
Look, we know dancing is not how Patrick got Thais. We know that. We saw that. It was pretty clear. But again, this is where you got to give Patrick credit, right? Because we just talked about the fact that he learned Portuguese so he can speak her language as well, right? But also, he's putting in the effort. He knows he can't dance. He knows he's got 3 left feet, okay? But what does he do? He's there practicing. Even when John and them came in the room, he didn't stop. He didn't flinch. He's like, what are you doing? I'm practicing my dance. We learned something and I gotta learn how to do it too, so...
It looked like that's the Brazilian version of the chicken dance because
But look, he was putting forth effort. He was offbeat. He was stiff as a board, but he was putting forth the effort.
Tried.
When
Yeah.
they actually did the dance, that's when you realize, oh, that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
When you saw Thais doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, okay, what she doing makes sense. What he was doing, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but hey, as we say in the South, bless his heart, he tried.
It was either the weights or the steroids that threw his rhythm off, or it was just maybe it's just genetics.
Yeah. What do you think of Nadia that told Thais, if my father didn't approve, I would postpone the wedding? Why would you put that in someone's head?
You know, and so Anaja, as Thais called her, Anaja, and that could just be the accent, right? She's definitely not a ride or die. I actually wrote that down. Like, she is not a ride or die. Because, to your point, why would you put that in her head? And I like the fact that her other friend was like, yeah, and I can't remember her other friend's name because I was so busy trying to figure out how to spell and pronounce Anadia/Anaja. But she was like, no, I mean, if this is what you want, then you gotta do it. And I actually like Thais' response, which was like, no, there's no postponing it. I can't postpone it. If we don't get married, I go back to Brazil and we're done automatically.
Yeah, I think her friend was a little bit of a hater. But,
yes. And we'll talk about haters next.
The last thing I have about them is, what was the outfit that officiator of that wedding had on? What was that?
That was
outfit?
the gangster officiant, man. That's it.
Yeah, I was like, where did he get this?
Hey, you.
Yeah, I mean, it just looked like some like Italian gangster, just like, yeah, you want to get married, go fuck yourself, whatever. You know, just
fucking say I do. That's it.
Yeah, just like Tony Soprano's like, hey Tony, I got to do a wedding real quick, I'll be back. You know, just the whole outfit. I was like, what is this dude have on?
You know, if I am her dad watching this, I'm like, see, this is exactly why. I can't understand what they're saying. And what the hell is this guy wearing? What kind of farce of a wedding is this? That's the first thing I would have said.
At least a dress shirt and a sports coat. You don't have to wear a tie, but just something compared to this, whatever that outfit was that he had on. But it did remind me of The Sopranos.
It really did.
And did you see the other guy out there in the black jumpsuit with the sunglasses? I'm like, where are these mafia type people coming from?
Obviously a hit.
Let's go ahead and take this guy out. Leave the gun. Bring the cannoli. We're going to the wedding.
As we move on to Bilal and Shaeeda, I'll be honest. I like how they transformed the house into a wedding space. It looked beautiful. But to be honest, to me, it shows... they could have spent the money on a small space and had that same small wedding instead of having people traipsing all through the house. I mean, but that's just
cheaper.
Well, yeah, it's
cheaper to do it at the house. Yeah. He's gonna need all that money to set up Shy and her yoga business.
Stop it.
So I'm just saying, like, he's gonna have to front her some money. I thought they would have got married at the mosque.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I mean, I thought it was nice. I thought Shy looked beautiful. I'm a hair person, so that it's hard for me to like.
Yeah.
I want to know what it's like under there. Like, what is it?
That ain't for you to know, man. That ain't for you to know.
Exactly. It's not for me to know. Mm-hmm. That's for them. But it's just kind of like, But
it was extra poofy though.
His daughter did.
It's because consider every time we've seen her with the hijab on, it's always really tight, right? And this was really poofy, so it really stood out. And I agree. It looked a lot. I'll just say that.
Looked more like a turban.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it looked more like a turban, but I thought it was nice. I thought his daughter, whatever the singing or whatever she did, I thought that was cute. The ceremony and all that was great, but the dancing, I'm just like, ooh, like Bilal, you and your son, y'all need to. I don't think Bilal was on the step team. Let's just say that. I think he's a proud member of the fraternity, but I don't think he was on the step team after looking at those moves.
You know, before they even got to the ceremony, we talked about the fact that Anaja wasn't a ride or die. Well, Shaeeda's sisters were, because they were like, if you want to escape, we can do it now. And I just want to point out, because I know I edited it out of last week's episode, those are her sisters. You said nieces, and you stood hard on those points.
That one was the sister. The other one, I don't think is the sister.
They're both her sisters. They said it this week too. Go back and look.
Whatever.
You just mad that I texted you in the middle of watching this because you probably had just finished watching that part too. Like, I told you they were her sisters.
I hadn't seen that part yet. And then I saw him signing the deal. I'm like, damn. And I just text you back. Whatever.
I want to point this out to you guys. Terrell hates it when I'm right and he's wrong. Now, that's usually 90% of the time. So that's really why he hates it so much.
I don't hate it. I'm just not a big fan of it. There's a difference.
No. Hate is probably right. For some things, hate is a very strong word. No, it's right on par.
But look, her sisters were ride or die. If you want out, we got you. Every wedding I've been in, I've told the groom, like, if you need out, I had a friend of mine that I wasn't in his wedding, but his wedding was on a Sunday, and he called me on Saturday. And I didn't answer the phone. And then I called him back because he didn't leave a message. I called him back. I'm like, hey, man, you all right? You need a ride? you want to get out? And he was like, no, I was inviting you to come have drinks with us. I was like, okay, I was just checking. And I think I did the same to you, even though you're already married. I'm like, if you want to back out.
I'm like, I can't. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But at least I always throw that courtesy out because if I'm in your wedding, I'm a ride or die. I'd be like, if you want out, I got you.
That's why, like, when people are at my wedding, like, are you nervous? For what? Where's she going? Well, she's not going to come down the aisle. I'll see you at home. Shit.
Just walk in the house. Where were you today?
Where the hell were you? Got me standing up there looking like a jackass.
Well, I brought you a plate from the reception.
And a piece of the cake, because, we partied our ass off.
Yeah, we had a ball.
You should have been there. Look, is it me or did the officiant during Bilal and Shaeeda's wedding sound like he wanted her to say no?
Are you sure? I think he was trying to get himself some airplay. He's like, this is my time to shine.
Yes.
This is my time.
Like, I know this brother. Are you sure? I'm going to ask you 3 times because this is his 3rd marriage. Are you sure?
He's like, nah, brother Bilal, I've done this with you twice before. Yeah. Are you sure?
So I'm only going to ask you once.
Yeah, because I'm tired of doing your weddings. I got other things I could be doing. So, are you sure?
I'm charging you quadruple next time. Oh, Jesus. As we get to our final couple, man, Emily and Kobe. We take it to Salina, Kansas. And first thing I thought, I guess I'm sorry. It's not an acceptable apology. I would have hung the phone up on our ass. Like, click, let's try this again.
Damn. Okay, Ike. I wouldn't have done that.
It's Emily. I wouldn't have been with her in the first place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have left it in.
No, I think at least she owns the fact that she overreacted, right? And she even said those words. So I made that note. At least she owned that she overreacted. Yeah. She called and said, I guess I'm sorry. Whatever. And again, it's edited. We don't know all the details. She could have said a whole lot more than just what was shown on camera.
Yeah, like, I guess I'm sorry.
But she apologized. It is what it is. But she's such a bad person because she still keeps... Now, keep in mind, I made a note. She still keeps making mistakes. Mm-hmm. And she shouldn't have got pregnant, but they're both their faults on getting pregnant. But she's just a mess. And then after I was typing that, I happened to look up and see Kobe coming out of the bathroom. I'm like, tidy whities. God damn it. He had on the tidy whities again. Hey. I'm like, what underwear model were you in China? Because do they wear tidy whities in China? Is that where he was modeling?
Apparently, that's how he got his modeling career started. Tidy whities and Speedos. Goodness. But
graduate to some briefs.
You noticed the tidy whities. I totally missed that. But here's what I couldn't miss. I'm going to sound like Terrell in this, and I'm so wrong for this. But what?
I'm shocked. I'm all ears.
Why did Emily's dress look like a curtain hanging in the window?
Damn.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I guess I'm sorry.
I'm gonna leave that one alone because hey, there's big girls and there's small girls. All of them can be beautiful. All of them can look in the dress. If Emily's attitude and personality was better,
yes,
she'd be an attractive,
indeed,
bigger girl.
Yeah,
you know, but. She opens her mouth and just like, ew.
And don't get me wrong, because her in that dress, the dress was amazing on her. It looked good. She didn't go overboard, didn't try to wear something extra tight, didn't try to get something extra frilly. So it looked good on her. Just hanging in the window. Look, at first I thought it was the curtain. I'm like, oh. I'm just saying. I'm not the only one that thought this. I'm the only one that's going to admit it right now. But I'm not the only one that thought this.
Yeah. I'll let you have that one. But what do you think about Temperature? Temperature got another dig. You know, I'm happy for them to do it, but Kobe needs to understand that in Africa, the man has the final shot, final say. And I was just like, Temperature, you're not going to let that go.
No.
Because that's not going to happen here.
But you know why?
It's not going to happen.
I'll tell you why. Because he's watched Emily in action. And Emily's too damn controlling. Again, and we've said this before, Emily acts like she's got a slave. You don't. Okay? It's supposed to be your husband. Like she's just, no, we're never moving to Ohio. How can you say that? You're a friggin' nanny. Now, granted, he has no job yet. We don't know what he's going to be.
There you go. Yeah. You're not going to move from Ohio because they have this house in Salina, Kansas with her dad paying for everything.
Yeah.
If Kobe was like, we're going to move to Ohio, I have this money, we're doing this, well, that's a total different ballgame. But right now, moving to Ohio is out the option. It's not even on the table.
He was never saying, let's move to Ohio right now. He was saying, let's look at what we can do in the future. Because here's the thing. His potential, his earning potential is going to be great in Columbus. First of all, Columbus is one of those, it's like Austin, but in the Midwest. So it's not, it's the Austin of Ohio, okay? Because the rest of Ohio is really and truly like Alabama, okay? So let's just make that very clear. And Columbus is so forward that they've got a Cameroonian culture there and a community. So yes, of course he's going to have, the opportunity to grow there. A little better than in Salina, Kansas?
No, not right now. Because here's what he was doing. This is what pissed Emily off. He was looking up apartments and all that in Columbus, Ohio. Now, it's going to be a good year before they could even think about moving until the second baby is born. The rent in Columbus, Ohio is not going to be the same now. So don't even look it up. You need to figure out green card job. What skill am I going to do? Focus on that. And then figure out, can I do that same skill in Columbus, Ohio, or not? The problem, like I said it before, and I'll say it again. Kobe, get a job at the Gap in Salina, Kansas, whatever mall you're close to. Get a job in retail, and then transfer to Columbus, Ohio. And at least you have a steady job with benefits. But now you have one baby, and you have another baby on the way. You can't afford either one. Y'all are stupid. And so to even think about leaving Salina, Kansas is ridiculous. Now, I loved how the dad told him, he loved him like a son. I mean, that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the dad had a lot of reservations from the very beginning, not even beginning of the show, but just from the beginning of Emily coming back from China pregnant. So for Kobe to build that relationship with them and all that, I think was great. And I totally get how it was probably hurting Kobe to keep the secret of the baby from this man. And
it was a great heartfelt moment between the two of them, and I really hate Emily put him in that situation to break her father's trust. That was bad.
It was heartfelt until Kobe said, "I knocked off your daughter."
Yeah, but he didn't say that till later.
No, he said it in that as they were talking. It's just, I knocked off your daughter, China, and I'm just like, I think there's a better way you want to word that, Kobe. I knocked off your daughter in China.
That's a language. It's a language barrier.
I think he might have meant knocked up.
Yes,
or maybe he was like, I knocked her off.
But he did.
Tagged it and bagged it.
Technically,
he didn't bag it. He didn't bag it, obviously, because this is how they have coping. But he said, I just made that note because I'm just like, wow. He just said that. I knocked off your daughter. Like, I just...
And he really wanted to tell him, and I understood his feeling because he gave him something, right? And I like the way that they hid that from everybody else. What he gave him, I'm assuming it's money. But we could be wrong, but the fact that he gave him something and they kept it real close, and it was obviously something that they had talked about prior to.
I know you don't do hypotheticals, but you're a dad. How much would you give? Like, because I'm assuming dude he's made a really good career for himself and living in Salina, Kansas. They probably own the land and all that type of stuff. So I'm sure he has money. I'm just like, okay, obviously $5,000 is not going to be enough to get them on their feet, because he only came with 4 and probably
I'm down to like it's still more than what he came with.
Yeah, but even if they hand him $5,000, that's not going to really. That's not even first and last month's rent.
In Salina, probably
on top of utilities and everything else. So I'm just wondering. But I did make that note. I wonder how much it was that they gave them. But the wedding and all that was nice. Mm-hmm. I don't know what you think. I thought the whole thing went pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, it did. I thought the wedding was good. You can tell when they were dancing with them at the end. You could tell when they were dancing to some Afro beats. And when they were dancing to some American music, because, Kobe's dancing changed depending on what was playing. Hit the Carlton when it was the American music playing. But, it's I think if you want to wrap up their relationship and why everybody hates Emily so much, it comes down to them talking to them after the wedding when the producers are talking to them and like, all right, so now that you're married, are you going to tell David about the baby? He's like, yes. And she's like, no. I'm like... And then the way she's rolling her eyes and like, Jesus Christ, woman, what is wrong with you?
Because at first I couldn't remember how long that they had been pregnant. And so I was like, couldn't they have just said, hey, after the wedding, the next day, Emily woke up super nauseous. We went to CVS. Oops, pregnancy test, she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. But then when they did tell them, I guess it was like 2 days later, when they did tell the family, and he said, how long? And she says 10 weeks. I'm like, oh shit, I guess they couldn't have just said...
Yeah.
We just found out.
Yeah, because that's 2.5 months. That means it was 2 weeks in. He went all in. Did not back out.
Yeah. But what I didn't like was Emily's whole attitude at the table. Like, well, yeah, Dad, we know that. We got to figure this stuff out. And her sister made the comment to the producers, that Emily takes advantage of her parents. Mm-hmm. And I think both Emily and Kobe are just very naive about what's going on here. And like Emily just thinks, well, yeah, I'm pregnant, but whatever. Dad, we're going to take care of it. And it's the dad's fault. Now, he admitted that maybe they were to lean on him. Like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
That's what you get. Y'all created this beast of a person.
Indeed. And the fact is, like, I know you say both Emily and Kobe are naive, but I will say this. Emily definitely is taking advantage of her parents. She always is going to, right? At this point, Kobe can't do anything besides what he should have done, which was not trust her. We won't talk about trust issues. He shouldn't have trusted her that, oh, I'm not ovulating, I can't get pregnant. I would have never trusted her with Jack, okay? But he did, and that's his fault. So if you want to talk about him being naive, I'd say yes there. But in this point, she's pregnant. What are they going to do? All he can do is move forward. It's like the times when people would say to you, I don't feel like going to class. All right, well, don't go. Well, I got to go. All right, well, shut up and go. I mean, it's at this point, what do you got to do? Move forward. But he needs a plan. She needs a plan. Well, don't even listen to her plan. He needs a plan. Let's just be real. He needs a plan to take care of the family. And that's what he wants to do. So hopefully they get this together and they can move forward. But, I thought David's reaction was a lot better than I thought it would be. And I'm glad to see that Emily didn't throw Kobe under the bus and even said that from the very beginning, he wanted to tell you guys. I said no.
True. I mean, like, I knew David wasn't going to, like, flip his shit because what's that going to do? Mm-hmm. It doesn't take the sperm out. The baby's coming. Whether you flip the table or not,
take
baby's
the sperm out.
Yeah. So it doesn't do anything. But I just felt like Emily's whole attitude was just this, like, I'm good. My parents got it taken care of. Mm-hmm. And I can't relate to that.
Right.
because I didn't have that type of upbringing where I'm like, I can make all the stupid choices I want and my parents got me covered. I'd never had that.
Right.
And so I can't relate to this. And so it's just annoying and frustrating to hear her talk. But I know that, well, I can't say I know, but based on what I've seen, I feel confident that her parents are going to wind up taking care of it. The dad was like, well, I was going to retire in 3 years. I guess I can't do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, how shitty you can't feel bad that you've ruined your father's plans.
Yeah, because he wanted to travel.
Life.
He wanted to travel.
Right.
Him and his wife, let him boss him around all around the globe. He wanted to go do that.
Yeah. But now you got to do this. And like the sister, like I would, if I was a sister, I'd have looked at her and be like, you dumbass. Both of you. I just can't believe y'all.
Facts.
Yeah, I know we got to have a plan. Okay, what's your plan?
Right.
The baby's coming in, it's 10 weeks, 10 and a half weeks. So whatever math happens. You're living here. You're a nanny. He's just applied for his green card. So that means y'all going to have to live here for at least another,
6 months
year
at least, yeah.
to 2 years before you can actually move out and get on your own. And then this is hoping that the baby is healthy, no complications.
Right.
Because Emily doesn't have insurance. Kobe don't have insurance.
And
so I mean, it's like, are you thinking? And again, this is why she's so dependent on her parents. But Kobe right now is not insured.
Yeah, exactly. And to your point, it's really irritating when you have somebody who's making mistakes, constantly messing up, and then when you try to tell them, well, you got to do this. I know. I'm like, you know what? You don't know.
You don't know.
I'll tell you what. You can have the barn. How about that? Forget the downstairs. You can have the barn. Now let's see if you know now. But of course they can't do that because she's carrying their grandchild too. So yeah, no.
Right. It puts Emily's parents in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because they can be pissed all they want, but they're gonna think about the grandchild. And it's not the baby's fault. It's not Coben's fault, and it's not whatever the other baby's name's gonna be his fault.
Right.
It's Emily and Kobe's.
Exactly. Well, we've traveled 1,000 miles. A little shout out to Jibri and his country song right there. For this season 9 of 90 Day Fiance. We've gotten all the couples married. And the next episode we're going to do is a reunion. We're trying to look it up. Is it next week or is it going to be week after? Either way, whenever it drops, we'll be right here back again to say that we were right about everybody. Now, rumors out there saying that at least 3 of these couples are pregnant. We know one. Already. So go ahead and enter below. Some of y'all may have seen it on your wet sock or what was the other guy's name? But
what's a wet sock?
It's a YouTube channel who covers a lot of these reality TV shows. Yeah, and if you've seen those, but drop below who you think, who else do you think is pregnant? Because I think that they said 3 couples are pregnant. You can drop them below. Let us know what you think. And of course, we drop our regular episodes, audio on Monday. On Tuesday, we drop the video. And on Thursdays, back for Married at First Sight, season 15, San Diego.
Getting closer to being done with these.
Yeah, well, I'm just pointing out, I said this to you before. There's another one that just started. People already started in the comments about it.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't read the comments.
You read every comment. You read every single comment. Hey, I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm Just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit you find on the internet. We'll talk about it on the regular show.
It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Cheers.